Welcome back to Cornell Notes, the notes that just can't be forgotten, Part 3. Students, please locate and remove your History of Candy Cornell Notes from the Mustang Groom section of your binder. Teachers, you can pause the video while students open to their notes in their binders. They probably only need 10 seconds or so because they are incredibly organized. Ready? Here we go. Today our content objective is, I can use my Cornell Notes as a learning tool. This is what the lesson is about, but how will you show you've learned this? Our language objective is, I will write a summary at the end of my Cornell Notes. Teachers, please pause the video while the ladies in the classroom read the content objective aloud, the gentlemen following with the language objective. There are many ways to use your Cornell Notes as a learning tool in your classes, but what you'll find in common about all of these ways is that they require you to interact with your notes. Interaction means that there is literally action between two or more things, or people. Action is doing something. This leads you to understand that you'll be doing stuff with your notes, and by stuff, I mean folding them, yes again, reading from them, searching through them, and writing a summary. If you're as smart as people say you are, you might even add notes if or when you realize that you are missing any important information. Let's begin by folding your notes along the left-hand margin. This should leave you looking at only the questions on the left-hand side of your notes without being able to see the answers to these questions in the notes section. What, you say? But my notes are really long and I had to use the back of my paper also. And now I can see some of the notes when I should only see the questions. Don't worry, my Mustangs. This interaction still works, as long as the notes you can see don't belong to the questions we're focusing on in the moment. So now that you've folded your notes, your teacher will pause this video for 2 or so minutes while you study on your own with your own self. How, you ask, will I do that? Simple. Without peeking at the notes section, cheating, ask yourself the questions on your notes. Write down or silently answer these questions, then check your answers in the notes section. You can also read a chunk of notes and try and figure out what different questions this information answers. You'll find that there are many more questions you can answer with this information than just the one question you wrote for this particular chunk. Now that you've taken some alone time to review, find 1 or 2 other partners whose first names begin with the same letter as yours does. Take turns using your notes and or your partner's notes to ask each other questions and try answering them aloud to each other. The idea is to be able to answer all different questions, including your partner's, with information you've learned from the notes, without actually looking at your notes. This takes time. We like to call it studying. Using your notes to study is just the first way to use your notes as a learning tool. You also use Cornell Notes as a learning tool by synthesizing the information. Synthesize means to figure out how different pieces, perhaps chunks, of information connect to each other. It's when you're able to put all the parts together and figure out what the big meaning really is. In other words, it's the point when you begin to figure out what the big deal is and how much more there is to a topic than can fit on Cornell note paper. It's the real reason you're taking the notes. To help you successfully synthesize the information about candy from your Cornell Notes with what you already know about candy, think about each keyword you circled. What do the keywords have in common? What do the main ideas you underlined share, both with each other and with the keywords? What do these keywords have to do with the essential question? How might you answer the essential question using these keywords? Lucky for you, today we're actually writing our summaries on our notes, so these questions and more can be answered. Now that you've had a chance to synthesize the information in your notes, write a summary on the bottom of the last page of your notes that answers the essential question in 3 to 5 sentences using all or most of your circled keywords. When you've finished writing your summary, circle the keywords you've used. Did you use all or most of them? Did you completely answer the essential question? Was there more than one correct answer to the essential question? There often is, and it doesn't hurt to answer the question in a variety of ways in the summary. Yes, the summary is what you've learned, but it's even bigger and better than just that. It's the giant celebration of what you've figured out, the ahas along the way, and yes, the fact that it appears that you are done with these notes. Eek, not so fast! You may have finished writing your Cornell notes, but you're not done interacting with them. Try reading your summary to two other classmates, then listen to theirs in return. You may find that they had a completely different perspective that you hadn't thought about, and you might even want to add or to change your summary to include these new ahas. Now we're done with these notes, right? Oops again. Your notes are an amazing reference tool that you can use to complete assignments. The more you interact with your notes, the more likely you are to remember the information and be able to go above and beyond the words on the page and find actual meaning in them. Remember, interacting with notes on any given topic for just 5 minutes a day will help you remember 80 to 100% of the information. Practice using your notes for reference and taking another chance to synthesize the information by completing one or more of these activities. Yes, they are activities because they require you to interact with your notes once again, and again, and again, and again.